What is up, guys? Welcome. Truth and Transparency. Oh, let's see. We're going to bring in Hector. What is up? Sorry, I pushed this back a couple different times. Well, people are starting to talk about it. Good thing we're talking about it. We're going to zoom in here. Again, Hector's going to bring us in and all the goods, but let's go like this. I want us to take a look really quick at a October 2020, a Letcher County grand jury has indicted a nurse practitioner. You guys, what is up? What is up? What is up? Relates to a 16-year-old boy. Carrie Lee Hall, she was a I don't know, prom queen, homecoming queen, something queen. So 41, Whitesburg was indicted Thursday. The indictments also include one sealed indictment, apparently of an unnamed co-defendant. That name is going to be revealed. But yeah, so I want to show you guys something. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the judge, the sheriff, some more stuff, and Instagram accounts that police officers had and what they were posting on Instagram and what they were titling their posts on Instagram and then saying make it look sexy and shit. Like, I mean, come on. So come on in. What is up? The charges are related to crimes that allegedly began in mid-September 2020, soon after the boy turned 16. We will have more information as it becomes available. Nurse practitioner among 17 named in indictments. So these are just different indictments that happened, but here's the grand jury indicted 17 people. This was an arraignment for today. Back again, this is 2020. This does not end up trying to go to court until 2023, but I got to show you guys something. So Carrie Rebecca Lee Hall, 41 of Dry Fork, was arrested Friday morning and lodged in the Letcher County jail, where she remained Wednesday. They, look at this, $250,000 full cash bond. Woo! Some dollar bills. Full cash. Okay. Full cash money records. Then boom, we finally find out who is this sealed indictment, the sealed name. Well, it would be one by the name of Lenny Bates, 46. All right. Was indicted on charges of being an accomplice with Hall to bribe or intimidate a witness, complicity to tamper with a witness, and complicity to tamper with physical evidence. He turned himself in at the Letcher County Sheriff's Office Monday morning. He just turned himself in. All right, Hall, who specializes in midwife, is charged in 6 separate indictments with 26 charges. So out of between Hall and Bates, it was 7 of the 27 indictments returned by the grand jury. In all, 17 people were indicted on a variety of different charges, but just these 2 right here and we're going to talk about it. Hall is charged with attempting to bribe the boy's mother to influence her and her son's testimony or to avoid testifying. The effort allegedly took place between September 30th and October 6th. About the time widespread rumors of the incident began circulating in the county, along with rumors of sex videos that a number of people claimed to have watched. In addition to the bribery charges, the indictments allege that Hall and Bates threatened or used physical force toward the teen and or his family in an attempt to affect his testimony. What's up, Goose? Yeah. Again, the effort allegedly took place between September 30th and October 6th, about the time, again, the widespread rumors of this incident began circulating. In addition to the bribery charge, the indictments allege that Hall and Bates threatened or used, like I said, physical force. So, again, this is like not have someone testify, right? In addition, the indictment charges Hall with 2 counts of first-degree sexual abuse, 2 counts of third-degree rape, 5 counts of use of electronic device to induce a minor to engage in sexual or prohibited activities, 4 counts of use of minor under 18. Blah, 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 right? Well, we got to show you. Good old. There you go. He turned himself in, right? The charges began in the middle of September. This is 2020, during COVID, y'all. During COVID, remember March 2020, schools are all being shut down. Some schools did not reopen. Some schools did. So you have COVID. A lot of things were going on in COVID. Everyone's bored. Everyone's using their phones. But I guess everyone's engaging in sex acts. All right. So the charges began in the middle of September when the grand jury alleges that Hall sent electronic messages from a phone or computer or other device from Tennessee. Remember, all this area around here is really close to the borders of 3 states. So from Tennessee to the boy who was then in Letcher County for procuring or promoting the use of a minor for an illegal purpose, and then allegedly employed, consented to, authorized, or induced the boy to engage in a sexual performance. Charges allege that crimes continued until at least October 6th. The grand jury alleges that between September 19th and 21st, Hall practiced fraud and deceitful through expressions of purported love for said minor. What? Most of the sex crimes related to the age difference between Hall and the boy, who is 25 years her junior, while the age of consent in Kentucky is 16. Okay? That does not apply when the other party holds a position of authority or special trust, or when that party is 10 or more years older than the other person. So in Kentucky, you can say, well, I'm 16 and I love you, and that's who I want to be with. I don't know. But I wanted to look further into this because where are we at here? Call these sex charges, man. Anyways, now time would pass. Oh, wait. After this all happened, the same day. See how it says November 4th? November 4th. These are 2 different articles. On the same day, texting or even viewing videos or photos of child porn is a crime. So the Mountain Eagle was like, hey, we're going to help out our community here. And we're going to just let people know what's a crime. Okay? So beware of what you view online. One of the myriad sex charges faced by nurse practitioner Carrie Lee Hall could come back to bite the very people who have attacked her on social media. Among the 26 charges against Hall involving a 16-year-old boy are 7 counts related to what is commonly known as child pornography, apparently stemming from videos, photographs, or both, which were allegedly exchanged between the two. Numerous people around the county have been claiming for weeks to have seen these videos involving Hall and the boy. And then therein lies the problem. It is illegal to even view images of a minor in a sexual act, much less transfer them or show them to another person. Commonwealth's attorney Edison Banks has not said whether the videos exist, but Hall is charged with 3 counts of possession of viewing of matter portraying a sexual performance by a minor. The charge is covered by Kentucky revised statute, and it goes on to say what it is. A person is guilty of possession or viewing. The law does not apply to accident or inadvertent viewing, by the way, to viewing in the course of a law enforcement investigation court case or by the minor's parents or school. Like, that's not a crime. Trooper Matt Gayhart, Public Information Officer for Kentucky State Police, Post 13 in Hazard, said people should understand that viewing any such tape would be a crime, and distributing it to others is even more serious. Having possession of something depicting a minor involved in sexual activity of any kind is a felony in and of itself. My recommendation would be that if you have knowledge of a video depicting a minor engaged in sexual activity, not to view that material. It's my recommendation. Viewing such material is a Class D felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Distributing child porn, which experts say would include posting it on the internet or sending it to someone in an electronic message, is a Class D felony as well for the first offense, but a Class C felony for each subsequent offense, punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Now, so that all happens November 4th, 2020. Now, fast forward 3 years, April 5th, 2023. How do you know you have it if you don't view it? Great question. Great question. Case involving woman. Teen is set for trial here on April 17th. So April 17th, 2023, there's supposed to be this big trial. Ready? And so an April trial date remains set for Whitesburg nurse practitioner facing sex charges related to a teen boy. Carrie is scheduled to stand at trial beginning 9 a.m. April 17th in circuit court. Hall was a nurse practitioner. You guys, everything's nurse. Like, what is this? Nurses, aides. Like, so again, pretty much just reminding people of what they wrote back in 2020. So I'm not going to read that. Now, boom. Man agrees to testify in upcoming sex abuse trial after a charge is diverted. And this would be her co-defendant is now saying, okay, give me a deal and I will testify against this broad. Okay, give me a deal and I will testify against this broad. A man accused of tampering with a witness in the sex abuse trial of a former nurse practitioner has been given pre-trial diversion in exchange for agreeing to testify in her trial. Jury selection in the trial of Carrie Lee Hall, 43, is scheduled to begin at 9 a.m. Monday. Lenny, these are what he, was indicted for. Prosecutor said Bates was not involved in the sexual aspects of the case and didn't know about it until just before encouraging the teenage boy involved to destroy his phone to keep Hall from going to jail. I find that hard to believe, just saying. Okay? Personally. My personal opinion is I find that really hard to believe that this guy is just going to go shake down a teenager but has no idea why he's doing it. Destroy your phone. Okay? Now, Bates will have to pay boy's mother $1,200 in restitution for the phone. So they got him to destroy the phone, basically. And $165 court costs. Cannot possess a firearm for the length of the diversion, cannot possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and will be subject to random testing. In exchange, he agreed to testify truthfully in all proceedings against Hall. Okay. Now, At the last minute, everyone's in a courtroom. Trial's about to begin. Jury selection's about to begin, rather. And Carrie Lee Hall, former nurse, pleads guilty to sex charges. April 17th, the day of this, a former nurse has pled guilty in 6 cases involving sex with a teenage boy. Carrie Lee Hall, flanked by 2 defense attorneys, stood in front of the Letcher Circuit Judge James W. Kraft II on Monday morning and admitted to the charges against her as a packed courtroom of potential jurors looked on. She agreed to plead guilty in exchange for a recommendation from the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office that she serve a total of 6 years in prison. She is to have no contact with the victim, attend sex offender therapy, pay for the victim's therapy, and register as a sex offender. Individual sentences add up to more than the 6 years, but the cases are to run concurrently, meaning that she will serve only the longest sentence if the judge approves the recommendation. Jury selection for Hall's trial had been scheduled to begin on Monday, and there was standing room only in the courtroom as she was handcuffed and led out of the room by a female deputy. Former nurse says she felt forced to enter a plea deal November 22nd, 2023. So you guys can see this was April. I wanted to see about this. Federal magistrate is recommending that a motion to overturn Carrie Lee Hall's guilty plea be dismissed. The former nurse is currently serving 6 years in prison after pleading guilty to charges related to a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old boy. She is asking a federal judge for a writ of habeas corpus to overturn her guilty plea and sentence. Hall 44 was arrested. You guys know the story. She filed a handwritten application for a writ of habeas corpus in U.S. District Court for the Western District of Kentucky, where a judge dismissed it and transferred it to the Eastern District, where the crime occurred. How come she's writing a handwritten note when she put up $250,000 cash? Can you imagine paying your attorney for 2 years and then deciding at the last minute that you're going to do a plea deal? So she wrote that she only pleaded guilty because she didn't think she could get a fair trial, in part due to inability to choose a fair, unbiased jury. So that would be like basically like your representation would have been putting in to like move this mofo out, you know, out of wherever this is at. Hall says the local paper went wild with news and took issue with a story about the indictment being posted online. She also claims falsely that information was fed to the newspaper by a friend of the boy's mother, who she says was an employee of the Commonwealth's attorney. For the record, I am seeking to try to talk to this woman, Carrie Hall, by the way, because I'm interested in this. The Mountain Eagle published 3 stories about the case in the nearly 3 years leading up to her guilty plea. Each of the stories appeared in the newspaper and online. Hall also says in the application for a writ that Judge James W. Kraft II denied numerous motions by her attorneys, and that he said the community would not be satisfied with a previous plea agreement saying he wanted jail time for her. Do you guys understand that the town was like basically torn between that A, nothing should happen, and B, that something should happen because of the boy's age? She also said Commonwealth's attorney Edison Banks delayed her case more than once because he was ill. Oh my God. Well, ain't that the truth? Her request for a writ of habeas corpus was referred to U.S. Magistrate Judge Matthew A. Stines for a recommendation before being taken up by U.S. District Judge Danny C. Reeves. Stines recommended that the motion be dismissed without prejudice, meaning that you can file again, meaning that she could file it again after her state court appeals are exhausted. Because there is a process here, okay? But I'm just totally confused as where her attorneys are. Why is she writing a handwritten letter in? What the fuck's going on? Like, where's her attorneys? I want to see her case file. Something about this all just reeks to me, okay? Something about this just doesn't pass the sniff test. Something's up. And I mean, whoo. I'd be so fucking pissed at my lawyers, first of all. I will say that. I mean, why wouldn't this been pled out right away? She probably couldn't keep paying them. I'm just curious if it was public defenders, if they, it just seems like nobody in that town does. Look up Mike Watts's daughter. Same thing. Interesting. It's interesting to me. Oh, they do. Oh, hell yeah, they do. Depending on what type of lawyer you have, $25 an email, right? It's just interesting when I'm reading about all these guys and all these guys are getting, nothing's happening to any of these dudes. And then here, this case just, anyways. Hall's claims lenient. She alleges she was forced to enter a guilty plea because several errors would have prevented her from receiving a fair trial. The recommendation notes that Hall conceded she had not filed an appeal of the Letcher Circuit Court's judgment, nor sought any relief. Yeah, you have to. She has to go there first. A prison filing for a writ of habeas corpus must first exhaust all available state remedies. That is true. Senate did not address the merits of the request, but said he recommended dismissal solely on the grounds that she did not exhaust possible remedies in state court before filing in federal court. He also recommended that the district judge deny a certificate of appealability of his decision. You can, even if you waive your right to an appeal with the plea deal, you can still, that doesn't fucking matter. You're fine. Waive away. Nothing. You still have your rights to appeal. Now, wanted to handle that first. Next up is, let's talk about the church. Wilford Niece, who was filthy rich, bunch of money, he would just pay this lovely little church that was across the street from the Poverty House bar in donations and rebuilding church, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, your offerings. And does anybody know who the pastor of that church was? This would have been back in, usually churches will like continue on down the family ranks, right? Well, let's see. Coming in hot, folks. Oh, you can't or can filter a ton of money through church. Yes, you can. Let me get my stuff up here. Okay. So remember that kidnapping I told you guys about? All right. So here we go. So when Wilford Niece went to prison for the 12-year-old, so the 12-year-old that he went to prison for was a member of a church that Wilford was a member of and paid not only, the offerings and stuff, but a building fund pledge monthly for helping build the new church, which coincidentally was directly across the road from the Poverty House Bar and on the state line of Kentucky and Virginia. Wilford not only had a son that died by a car accident getting in to go after and to see if his dad was banging his wife, Wilford also had a daughter who died of anorexia. Used to compete in weightlifting competitions. Wilford used to give her a really, really hard time. Rest in peace there, Regina Niece. Then, let's see here. By the way, the reason that Wilford ever got fucking popped for anything, guys, is because that kidnapping, that botched kidnapping, okay, that was found out because Wilford enlisted the help of the FBI to catch the quote-unquote kidnappers so that he did not have to pay all that money, which in turn put himself on the motherfucking radar of the feds. What? You cannot be any fucking dumber, okay? This greedy, filthy, fucking nasty pig enlists the help of the FBI, Wilford Niece, with that botched fucking kidnapping bullshit, okay? Which then put him on the damn radar of the FBI. Greed and stupidity. When you mix those two together, guys, it's a literally, when I want to say it's a deadly combo, no, it's a jail combo. Like you are going to prison when you mix your stupidity with your greed and you do fucking crime. Fuck, bye. Anyways. So my question is, this goes for the family that is in search of Jack Blair's family, is, obviously Wilford's dead, okay? But I'm just curious if the family believes that Webb, who was the Kentucky State Police on the case when he became mayor, which was there just shortly after finding Jack Blair's body, remains, does the family believe that Webb took payoffs from Wilford Niece in order to not basically, go forward with investigating the case against him? and any associates that would have played a hand in that. And so, and I believe my answer to that question, I'm going to answer it myself. And I believe that the answer is yes. And then so, like, I think that Webb should have to answer for that. Like, Jack Blair didn't run himself off the fucking road. Okay. There's evidence there that shows that he didn't. He also didn't tie himself up like that. Okay. So somebody did. And to think that you're not going to have it like launch any type of investigation, like where's the documents? If this was a closed case, because it was just what is it ruled as? Is it still listed as an open and active investigation? Because I want the file. Let's take a look at this file. Let's take a look at this file. Now, you guys, the judge, the sheriff. This is nothing that just has started, like when people say like so, that this just happened. When you look back and you see that Sheriff Mickey Stines was involved in law enforcement in some capacity for almost like his entire career. And then you look at the judge. He's been a judge for his entire life, right? So Mickey was a bailiff before he became sheriff. All right. So in a small town like that, right, you either are naive, and when people are naive, they usually don't make it. You turn the other way, or you're involved. When you are in a small town like that, and you are, and I'm not talking about just an average citizen. I'm talking about when you are in a small town like that, and you are either working at the courts, working for law enforcement, being part of the criminal justice system, okay? You are either, if you're going to sit here and try to say that you're naive, you can only be three things. You're either in it, looking the other way, which is whatever you want to try to call that, or if you want to try to say that, well, some people are naive. Like who? Meaning this, we're not talking about speeding tickets, guys. We're not talking about, oh, I let my friend out of a speeding ticket. He was going like 10 miles over. And I realized when I pulled him over, oh, it was Tommy. And I just didn't give him a ticket. I gave him a warning instead of giving him a ticket. Okay. We're talking about drugs. We're talking about human trafficking, drug trafficking, acts of physical violence, domestic physical violence. I mean, how can you be involved? How can Mickey Stines be involved with the criminal justice system in that town for as many years and not see all this corruption? Not know that it exists. Yeah, I'm talking about something that was 25 years ago. This is not, I mean, absolutely. You're ridiculous. The Poverty House Bar in Virginia has been closed for 25 years. Exactly. We're not talking about something, what we're talking about here is we're talking about the charges of Wilford Niece taking a 12 and a 14-year-old across state lines 25 plus years ago. Absolutely. That's exactly what we're talking about. So thank you so much for letting me know. And the rest of the viewers that you are hand stamping that, yes, the Poverty House existed. It's a bar. Woohoo. Yeah. And then it closed. Woo. Absolutely. So you're proving me to be factual right here. That I'm telling you guys that there's a bar called the Poverty House, right? How would I fucking know about that? 25 years ago. Absolutely, it existed. Absolutely, Wilford Niece would take people there and sexually assault them that were under 18. That's what he went to prison for. Okay? There was never a church anywhere near that bar. 65 years old. I live in Jenkins. Stop making stories up. I'm not making up any stories. But thank you so much for telling me that the poverty house did exist. Right? You basically just hand stamp what I fucking said. You all are ridiculous. The Poverty House Bar in Virginia has been closed for 25 years. Yes! Thank you so much for that. That is just like music to my ears. Try to Google the Poverty House. You can't even find that shit. I found it. It's where little fucking perv men took little fucking girls and raped them. I believe the victims that I talked to. Who would ever want to just hit up some random person and confide in them? Basically, if what was going on in that town keeps getting pushed underneath the rug, you're going to continue to have victims. And then it seems like the town, just like everywhere else, people only care when it happens to your kid instead of doing something when you see something. I don't disagree with the history. It's just hurtful for some of us to keep hearing it. I agree. I think a better way to say it hurtful is that it brings up old memories and scars. And how do you think it is for people that actually want to try to come forward and talk about it because they finally have eyes? Do you understand that Letcher County finally has eyes on it? Do you understand that these victims are out here saying, oh my God, we finally have eyes in a county that I live in where these things have been going on, where this has been happening. We finally have eyes on this and we can come on, please help us. Help us expose all of this, please, because it's not just with the judge and the sheriff. It's not just that. Do you understand people are reaching out wanting help? And right now, all eyes are on that area. And that because of this, other things can be brought to light and people that are victims and are continuing to be victims can possibly have a chance not to be a victim. That's what this is about. So if you're getting it twisted with anything other than that, then I'm sorry that that's how you're getting it. But that's not what's going on. What's going on here is that there's issues going on in Letcher County and people are reaching out because, oh my gosh, people are finally looking over here because of this incident. Well, hey, this has been going on. This has been going on. This has been going on. Help, help, help. And guess what? It's not like they can go, the people that are victims in that town, they can go to the police or the sheriff or whoever because they're involved. They're involved. They've been involved systematically over history, continuing to repeat itself, meaning that nothing's going to happen when I go to the police. And in fact, I do that, then now they're going to come harder for me. So there's victims out there. And everyone just needs to understand that if people are reaching out because they want help or they want other things to be seen because of this, and in small towns like that, how you get people to look the other way, okay, is you get blackmail on them. You set people up and then you have blackmail on them. You say, hey, well, guess what? I know about that thing that you did, blah, blah, blah. If you tell, hey, this is coming out. Stuff like that. That's 101. Where'd that person go? They get the boot? No, I didn't boot anybody. I appreciate the history, and you have done incredible work. People need to know, no doubt. I just can't put that history with the current shooting. Oh, I can put it with the current shooting. Okay. Well, no church, just a closed bar. Well, maybe there's a little bit of a house that was over there. You want to call it a church? They rebuilt one across the way over there. So look it up. See who was the pastor back then 25 years ago. How about this? Enlighten me with who the pastor was 25 years ago. You really help save me some time on my work. That history completely describes the current shooting. I believe it does. Blair does for being an informant for the feds. No church around that area. Blair does what for being an informant for the feds? That's the whole thing, is that he wasn't. Somebody in the court, somebody that was in the court system and that worked there put that rumor out. And you have to ask yourself why they did that. Jealous people do fucking dumbass shit. So that got told to Niece, and then Niece had Jack Blair taken care of. But the question would be is, why would anybody lie and go tell him something that wasn't true? I know, I could tell you 2 reasons why somebody would do that. In competition. Personal grudges. Yes, I agree 100% with what Mix is saying right here. Minx is saying the corruption was passed down. The judge was getting kickbacks from the rehab places, 100. That's why that FOIA request, if they answer it and they show how much money was being used to paying for these, rehab stints, the drugs and trafficking continued, 100. Timekeeper only cares about this damn church. Well, maybe in my next show, I'll go ahead and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll get out the Google Maps and we'll talk about it. Politicians all over the state getting money from ARC. Yep. Follow the money. Bottom line is that there's victims that have an opportunity to be possibly not victims anymore because all eyes are on the town. And why anybody would ever not want to clean, like, if that stuff was going on where I lived and where my kid was, I'd want everybody hell yeah, get in here and clean this shit up. We've been trying to do this. We've been trying to do this forever or something like that, Hell yeah. Oh, it took something like this for finally, like, all right, all eyes and let's get to cleaning. But to take offense to it, I mean, I think that there's something wrong to take offense to that. You should always want to leave a place better than you ever had it. And if you have kids, this type of stuff should bother you if you're reading about it all the time. Oh, I'm trying to expose the shit I've gotten info from. Bring it on. Like I said, I have an email. I always vet the stuff and the stuff that I've found recently. I mean, why were these police officers having or sheriff deputy whatever having Instagram accounts and writing on their Instagram accounts, posting arrests and then saying, make it look sexy? I mean, what the fuck? You know what would happen if someone tried to post something like that here in Columbus, Ohio. Fuck out of here. Like, that's just wild that an officer has an account and posts that shit. And if you don't believe me, you can check the community page of my channel out, and I posted the Instagram account. It belongs to Norris Signal 2. You guys can check it out. You guys can, I mean, I can pull it up here. I'll pull it up on my own. But there's people out there that want help. All right. What's time? I know that they want, because nobody's reaching out. People are reaching out. I get more emails on Letcher County right now a day than I do on Idaho 4, and that should tell you guys something. So for what it's worth, there's people out there in your community that want help. And if I have a platform to help, I'm going to help. If I have a way to dig and get information by FOIA requests, I'm going to help. And no, I just don't run with stories. I'm good on that. So here we go, though. This is, again, you can see it on my community page. I'll share it here. And it, Instagram accounts of a, hold on, let me scroll down far enough. Damn, how many updates do I have in this damn thing? Just kidding. Oh, here it is. Again, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up and share the video. That way more people can be, told about what's going on. Here you go. This is Signal 2 is the name of the account. Ironically enough, I tried to go find it. Be a crime fighter. Those were, hold on. Let me make sure that's shared properly. Okay. You don't want to share part of it? Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. So this is an arrest, and then took a picture of it. Signal 2 says, make it sexy, check. Like, yep, making it look sexy. And then has the caption up top, is that stupid ass song that daddy fucking, I don't know. I don't know why it's so big. I'll just print it. Let's see. Oh, here we go. It is, the song is Xander Daddy Cop. Daddy Cop. Do you guys know that song, Daddy Cop? I'll play it for you. I'll just print this though. Daddy Cop. Let's play Daddy Cop. please, so I can get arrested. Are you fucking kidding me? It's like this song is this town. But here it is. That's your officer. That's your person. Make it sexy. So if you're all about having your officers in your communities and wondering, why are you covering this, Lana? Well, this is why I'm covering it. Because women are reaching out and saying, this is what the fuck has been going on. Okay? These people are fucking bad. So, like, you either get in line or fucking you get hot-shotted, make it look like an overdose. You get fucking, here, go ahead, go to prison, or do this, or do this, or do this. You know, so this is what's going on. If you want to ignore it, it's fine. Or we can all help each other out and help people that are victims. And yes, they probably have done things, but why are they doing things? So that's what you should probably get to the bottom, you know? And the worst thing to see happen here is that the sheriff and the judge stuff get somehow pushed under the rug. But I'm thinking that that's hopefully not going to happen. But Mickey taking some type of a plea deal would make that happen. People need to take the blindfolds off. It doesn't just go away if you keep ignoring it. Yep. Sharing now. I liked and sub. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate that. That song is awful. It's awful. And that's what, yeah. So and I just see a reoccurring theme here with, you know, people that are in healthcare, like nurses, and that why are all these nurses getting, I feel like, exploited? You know, it's exactly what they said in that article. That guy that was arrested and he pled and he talked a little bit and he said, like, we're getting information on people. We're getting information on people on, like, who could possibly possess that type of information, meaning who's going to be entering what rehab facility and that they're outpatient and that this is the kind of drugs they like, da-da-da. Who possibly would have that information to pass along? Somebody that would have access to their fucking records. Okay. And that most certainly would be judges. That most certainly would be facilities. So. You know, the only time that you're a rat is when you're the one that's doing the bad shit with them. Okay. When you're doing it, that's when you get labeled a rat. But when somebody sees something that they weren't involved in and they say something, that's not a rat, just so you know. There's a fucking very big difference. A rat is somebody who's doing the shit with the motherfuckers. Okay. You need to learn about the mob if you really want to be in the mob. When you're doing the shit and you're just as motherfucking guilty and then you fucking rat, that's a motherfucking rat. But if you see something and you aren't the one that had anything to do with anything and you simply are saying what you saw, that's not a rat. That's somebody's hero. That's a victim's hero. So don't get it twisted what a rat is. A rat is when you are doing the shit with the people and then you want to rat and then you want to deal. Okay. But there's people out there that I know that aren't rats, that they know what's going on. They've seen stuff. They weren't doing it, but they're just keeping quiet because they don't want poor cousin or sibling or mom or dad or whoever to get in trouble. or they possibly have nowhere to go to give up their information. So, nah, I ain't a rat and I ain't a man hoe. It's a man hoe. That made me laugh. I had to highlight that comment. I don't even think it's like that. It could be that you're not working them at all yet. It's just when you get caught, then when you tell on other people, that's what a rat is. You don't even have to be working with them at the same time. It's just like, hey, you got caught. Shut up. Take your punishment like a man and don't say anything. Okay. You want to live by that code? Like I'm not gonna. Okay. All right. Because you know what? You're going to become someone's bitch inside there. So I get why people can't do stuff like that. But there's people that aren't engaging in the acts. They see it. They see aftermath of something. That type of stuff isn't ratting. So I just don't want people to get it twisted. But Letcher County, all eyes are on you, and I know that people are reaching out and wanting help. If this story doesn't go away, I think that a lot of people can be helped. So, but stay safe, Letcher County. Thoughts and prayers. Yep, that's about it. Chase women when you're married as a man hoe, says Tim. Thank you, Tim. Tim, we're going to just start a whole little dictionary over here from the comment section. I love it. Locals here are just tired of the nonsense. I love it. Yes. Yes. I do. I know that people are tired of the nonsense, and you can, yes. Yes. And people want it to stop. And guess what? That means that authorities are the people that have to make it stop. And right now, what I've seen is that the authorities aren't doing shit for you people. And I feel fucking horrible because you people are like me people. Like we the people. We the people pay your fucking salaries to fucking protect us and to protect our kids. So do your fucking job. That's what I hate. I hate to see good, hardworking Americans getting fucked. And that's what I see happening in Letcher County. And there's kids. Like, God, leave the kids alone. You want to go rob a place, go rob a place. You want to fucking go looting. Leave kids alone. If the mob was still around, man, you mess with a female, an elderly, or a child, you're done. You're fucking done. And that's why I miss the mob. The mob had rules. The mafia, they had fucking rules. Fucking go be a little pee-pee toucher. Fuck you, man. What's wrong with you? How do you hurt children? You're such a man. What man hurts fucking kids? What man beats on a woman? No, I'm looking at a fucking pussy ass bitch. Man. Out of here. All right, my rant's over. So, high fives and hugs to all the moms, women, children, elderly in Letcher County. You guys are loved and appreciated. And if there's anything that this channel could do to try to help, we will. So, if you're such a man, go take on other men. or be a man and raise your kids. Be a father. So, cheers, peace out, late. So how does this directly connect to shooting? We're both Judge and Stines. We're both Judge and Stines corrupt. Yeah, I said that in the middle. I said that there is no way I believe that both of these two men did not know what was going on in that town for the past how many years. Okay. That Stines had a deposition. In that deposition, he had a huge motherfucking wake-up call. Okay. A huge wake-up call. And I don't know if the feds played him and said, hey, this is what this guy said. He already had his depo type of bullshit. But I'm telling you, that Fed depo, that deposition blew everybody out of the water. So, I'm a retired drug dealer. Ratting ain't on the table in this situation. Brad, I already love you. You better be back here, Brad. Like I said, Letcher County, we love you. We want to help. Till next time.